Never blame the quarterback, guys, but Will Levis sucks.
Like, I couldn't understand. I felt like I was watching a video game.
Hip drop tackle my ass.
Granddad's back there, grandma, it doesn't matter. If you're back there throwing the ball.
You're basically just getting lit up.
People give that position way too much credit sometimes.
Although I don't know if you can call what the Panthers are doing football.
No offense to the Patriots, but, I don't really like you guys anyway.
Was there a quarterback that you thought, oh, this is an easy win?
Let's see. I hate to say it.
From Wondery, I'm Annie Agar, and this is The Offensive Line. Welcome to The Offensive Line, you guys. We're here to make some picks, talk some shit, and hopefully make you some money. I'm Annie Agar, today here with our guest, four-time All-Pro defensive end, Super Bowl champ, and newly enshrined Hall of Famer, Dwight Freeney. Dwight, thanks for joining us this week.
Oh, thank you for having me. How you doing?
I'm great. I would be better if we had a little bit better football to watch this weekend. It was rough for a while there.
Oh, stop it. At least football was on. All right?
That's true.
Imagine what you were doing the weeks before.
Although I don't know if you can call what the Panthers are doing football, so I don't know.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
You were inducted into the Hall of Fame this summer, and your jersey was retired at Syracuse this past weekend. And then this weekend, I'm pretty sure you were sidelined at the Colts game. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I was at the Indianapolis-Houston game. So usually the Hall of Fame guys, they have to pick a game. So they picked the Colts versus Houston. So at halftime, they brought me out, my entire family, and I was presented the Hall of Fame ring. So it was awesome.
That is incredible. I saw that.
Unfortunately, the Colts lost.
I saw that all over Twitter. Well, we'll get into the Anthony Richardson talk, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Colts have to be, it's a huge part of your life, obviously, but to have that kind of honor at a game, week one, has got to feel great.
I mean, awesome. I mean, you don't think about those types of things, really, to be quite honest with you. And then when you go through it, and the fans are kind of a part of it because they were part of my journey. So when I get a Hall of Fame ring, they kind of get a Hall of Fame ring in a way, and it's a really special feeling, honestly. Especially
Colts fans, I feel like those Midwest franchises, it just means more because we have nothing to do in the fall and winter other than watch football. We have a lot to talk about this week one. Lots of things happened. All of this speculation we've been making this offseason doesn't matter anymore because the real stuff happened on the field this weekend, and some things were almost too offensive to even talk about, Dwight. First off, the Panthers. Oh my God. I don't even know where to start. They lost 47-10 against the Saints. Bryce Young had 0 touchdowns, 2 picks. Atrocious. Did you see any of that game?
Thank God I didn't. I was like I said, I was in Indianapolis Gold game, but listen, 10 points. 47?
I feel bad talking about it. I can't even roast them. They're just so awful. Good thing they have their first round pick next year, guys. They're going to need it. Okay. Safeties in Seattle. You think one safety is pretty bad, right? They got 2. The Broncos got 2 safeties against the Seahawks. And I said pre-show, I said before, I think I said it last week, I'm not betting on the Broncos because the only thing worse than betting on a rookie quarterback would be betting on Seattle in Seattle because Seattle's so up in the air too. They didn't look great either. That game was awful.
But they won.
But they did. They pulled it out.
It doesn't matter what happens all throughout that game. Whoever comes up with the W. It could be ugly as you want to call it. Ugly usually means pretty good defense for the most part, but I don't know about those two teams. I don't know.
That's very true. For bettors out there, it's not terrible. You just hit the under. And then lastly, and I want to get your opinion on this, Aaron Rodgers, not even what happened on the field. Before the game started, he announced he's coming out with a documentary. It's called Enigma. First of all, sir, you're not an enigma. You just drink green juice. So calm down. Aaron Rodgers having his own documentary. Will you watch this, Dwight?
Is it on Netflix?
I think yes, it is.
I'm not really big on that. But because I know him, I'll take a look at it.
Well, that's one view. That's one viewer. That's all he needs. Is he's reaching one person. That's a good start. Okay, let's talk a little bit about some less offensive things, maybe. Let's get into week one and go from there going into week two, because we saw a lot play out on the field that's going to play into these week two games. Starting with Chicago, guys, my favorite game in week two. Chicago's coming off a big win. I don't know if we'd say big because Caleb Williams did nothing, but Chicago's coming off a big win, and they play CJ Stroud in Houston. The Texans are favored by 6.5. So Caleb, if you didn't see on Twitter, because Bears fans were talking about it extensively, he's the first overall pick to win his debut game since David Carr, since 2002. That's pretty impressive, even though he did. Yeah, it's a long time ago.
But look, I don't know how impressive it was. It didn't like he had a great game. But but they won. And that's all that matters. You can have a bad game as long as you have a bad game and you win, that's all that matters. Don't have a bad game.
I feel like that's the theme of this whole episode. As long as you win, that's all that matters. Okay, so what are your thoughts on Caleb Williams? Where does that stand? Because I'm not, everybody knows I'm not high on him from the start of the season. And after this performance, it's hard, like you said, to say whether or not he's going to be great because they did pull out the win, but that was mostly defense. They had 2 field goals, a blocked punt, a pick 6 that was terrible by Will Levis. Oh my God, absolutely atrocious.
Yeah,
so what are your thoughts on Caleb Williams? Is it too soon to tell, or what do you think?
Well, it depends on what your expectations are and what you think he's going to be. If you keep your expectations low, and I don't mean necessarily as a shot at him, what you're doing is you need a piece in an organization or a franchise that can be solidified. Okay, that that you can count on that person. He doesn't have to be Peyton Manning or Tom Brady. Just somebody that you can rely on and does the right things more times than not. All rookies at quarterback, they usually struggle. And there's no secret to why that is. The game speed, things that happen in the NFL game is a lot different than it is in college. All right. So those guys have to pay a lot of catch up. And I think, if they keep him protected, and I say protected, an offensive line has a block for him and they run the ball when they need to run the ball, he has a chance to grow into a really good player. He has the skill set to do that. But it doesn't mean it's going to happen automatically.
I think he honestly, and as much of a hater as I am of the Bears, hate the Bears, but I will say, I'll be the first one to say, I think Caleb Williams potentially could still have that 4,000-yard season that the Bears are looking for from a quarterback. I'm saying it right now. So Bears fans, don't come at me. I'm backing you guys up for a little bit. Okay, I can't give an opinion on this because you know this a lot better than I do. Okay. Would it be more rewarding for you to sack somebody like Rodgers, like an icon, an iconic Hall of Famer quarterback, or a hotshot rookie that comes in thinking they're hot and you just light them up?
Put them all in the bag. It doesn't even matter. I'm gonna take joy in all of them. I don't matter who it is. I don't really care. If you're back there throwing the ball, I'm going to come after you. I'm going to hit you. And that's it. So rookie, Pro Bowl guy, Hall of Fame guy, whoever, granddad's back there, grandma, it doesn't matter. If you're back there throwing the ball.
You're basically just getting lit up.
Just get ready. So it doesn't matter. Put them all in the same bag. I don't care.
We do not discriminate on this show, everyone, just so you know. But Tom Brady did his first game in the booth.
Okay.
And it was Cowboys-Browns. Did you hear any of that? Because I want your opinion on what he sounded like. And if you wish you could sack him a few more times after listening to that broadcast.
Listen, I didn't because I was in the air. But I heard a little backlash, or not backlash, but people giving him a hard time. Now, look, like anything, you start something for the first time, you're not going to be great at it. Will he improve? Well, at the quarterback position, he improved. All right. He wasn't great in college. Right? And in his first year, he wasn't the greatest, but he started getting better. So in the end, we'll see what happens.
I never thought I'd have to try to defend Tom Brady, and say that he might not be good at something and he just has to work on it. This is bringing him down to reality a little bit. Okay, so for this game, Chicago, Houston -6.5. Who's your pick for this game?
I would probably say Houston, home game. They're playing really well.
Yes, I am also picking the Texans at -6.5 against Chicago. Cincinnati. This was another big game this week. Absolutely blew my mind. Probably ruined everybody's survivor pool, including mine, because we picked Cincinnati to beat the Patriots, one of the worst teams I thought in the NFL. And that didn't happen. And I should have known, Dwight, because the Bengals start out so slow every year. Zach Taylor, for some odd reason, cannot win week 1 or week 2 usually. The Bengals are now 1-10 in the first 2 weeks of the season under Zach Taylor. Not good. But just to have this much of a slow start is incredible to me. So why do you think that Cincy can't start out right there? Is it training camp issues?
Don't know what's happening in their training camp, but usually slow starts usually mean something isn't right there.
From your experience, what's the vibe of training camp? Like, is everybody kind of like stressed, or is everybody kind of chill?
There's no chill. It was us ones versus ones. we took those practices seriously. We took those practices like games. And I was lucky and blessed to be able to go against Peyton Manning, Edgerrin James, Marvin Harrison, those types of guys over there, So for us, that it doesn't get any harder than that. That competition doesn't get harder than that. So everything after that in the games, we're all, downhill for us. So that was our opportunity to really get after it and sharpen that sword and get ready for week 1, 2, 3, whatever it is.
Well, it doesn't get any easier for Cincinnati because they play the Chiefs now week 2. Cincinnati at Kansas City. Kansas City's -6, which is very gracious spread, I would say. Ed Reed said he could figure out Mahomes in an interview last week. The internet thought it was BS because it's very hard to contain Mahomes, as we have seen. The defensive side of the ball, how would you game plan against Mahomes? What would be your thought process? Can you blitz him? Because I think they tried a little bit.
Put it this way. This is my thoughts. Patrick is an absolute amazing player. Absolute amazing. He will be one of the greatest that played this game when it's all said and done. Me stopping him or us stopping him, we'll have a game plan. We had me and Robert Mathis on each side. Right? We both have over 120 sideline sacks, and we don't need to blitz to get you. So all we have to do is beat you off at the tackle. Got nothing to do with you, Patrick. You got no choice but to go down because we're just going to have to be on top of you. So teams that have good upfront for pressure, don't blitz a lot, have better chances against Patrick. When you start blitzing, he recognizes it and they pick you apart.
Right. So it's just the tough defenses. Somebody's got to be able to put a stop to him. 49ers, I thought the Jets, I really thought after last night, and we'll get into that game later, I thought the Jets defense was the one to beat, but now I don't know. Didn't look too great. Okay, so pick for this game, Cincinnati at Kansas City. Kansas City -6. Who are you taking?
Kansas City.
Yeah. Not even a question.
Well, yeah, I just think that Cincinnati isn't playing well yet. I'm
going to have to go with that too, unfortunately. I'm starting to hate the Chiefs. Ugh.
Don't hate greatness. They're great. It is what it is.
That's true. I'm just a class A hater, apparently, Dwight. Okay. It is week 2. Only week 2. But you could technically say, Dwight, this is our Super Bowl because your Colts play my Packers. It's not a coincidence that I had you on this week. I am a little worried about this game, not going to lie, because I'm recovering from losing Jordan Love, as everybody saw this past week. Friday night, Jordan Love went down with an MCL sprain, which did give me I slept that night, I will say, because I thought he was going to be out for the entire season. We thought maybe it was ACL. He's only out for 3 weeks. He's not even on IR because they want him back within those 4 weeks. So you don't put him on IR for that reason. Thoughts on Jordan Love? Let's start there.
I think that, what the Packers did and have him, learning behind Rodgers all those years, you're starting to see the benefit of that, and, same thing what Rodgers did. You learn from the guy in front of you. So I think that, based on that formula, I think you see what he can do, what he's capable of doing, and he's capable of putting up some big numbers. And as long as they protect him, and that's all it comes down to is protection. I think he understands the offense, and he has the mobility to escape the pocket when you need to, make some unorthodox throws, etc. Now he has to get healthy, and that's the thing that is going to be really tough for these guys because you have the sprained MCL there, on his knee. That means it takes away a part of his thing that he goes out and does to everybody, that shake and move and make guys miss. So. I don't know, but hopefully he can get that right. But he's going to be a good one.
The Packers just looked sloppy Friday night. I mean, we had 3 turnovers, forced 3 turnovers, didn't get a touchdown out of it. I'm just not impressed with a ton of penalties. Jaden Reed's touchdown got called back because we had 12 men on the field. I just was one thing after another. But I digress.
You played in Brazil. You played in Brazil,
Packers
right?
That's true. The turf was terrible. We'll blame it on the turf.
Listen, I know the other team had to play in Brazil too, but it's a different thing when you're going all the way over there getting ready for a game.
Yeah, I can't imagine that travel on them. That's got to be exhausting. I mean, traveling from like the Jets going to San Francisco or back, that trip alone, that's a hike. But then to go from Green Bay, Wisconsin, all the way down to Brazil, they've literally flew through the Bermuda Triangle and they're expected to play next week. Isn't that crazy?
Exactly.
That's crazy.
No, it's it.
But enough about my Packers. Let's talk about your Colts. Yeah. AR, you saw him in action. Anthony Richardson, did you see that 70-yard bomb? Were you sidelined for that?
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. Like I couldn't understand. I felt like I was watching a video game. He slips. He slips.
Yeah.
and still throws the ball 65, 70 yards in the air?
Like the stats don't even give it. It was a 60-yard touchdown statistically, but that was the line of scrimmage. And you're right. He fell. He like tripped and fell like 5 yards back and then just launched the ball 70 yards. It was out of frame on our TVs the entire way.
Really?
It was incredible. It was incredible.
Yeah, he's talented.
What are your thoughts on Anthony Richards? Did you talk to him at all post-game or?
I didn't get an opportunity to. I think, he's another guy who sky's the limit. I think, from him, I think he has those intangibles, those things that you can't teach. Like you see 65-yard touchdown throw in the air, running guys over, athleticism. I just think he needs to hit the windows. I think he needs to hit the windows a little bit more touch and feel. And once he gets that, he's going to be golden.
Are we worried about because obviously the injury prone and the way he plays the game and that kind of style of game everybody talks about, I'm so worried he's going to get hurt. It's not sustainable. Do you see that as being a problem or not really?
Look, I think any quarterback who likes to run, anything can happen.
Yeah.
All right? You run at your own risk, and he happens to be a runner. All right. So hopefully he understands that and gets down when he needs to get down. No different than Josh Allen. Josh Allen does all types of jumping over people. I think he's going to get hurt too. All right. It's only a matter of time. It is what it is.
Yeah. He absolutely hurtled into the end zone last game. The man is, I don't know. When you're that big, I think they just assume they're invincible. Okay, I'm talking myself up on Malik Willis, who is our quarterback that's going to come in and take over for Jordan Love in the meantime. I would like to know from you, who was the worst quarterback, and you don't have to talk down about anybody unless you want to, because we're not offensive here. Who was the worst quarterback you had to convince yourself would win games for you?
The quarterback position, people give that position way too much credit sometimes. And I don't
spoken
mean
like
that
a true defensive end.
I honestly mean this. I swear, they get too much blame when you lose, and they get too much credit when you win. It's just somewhere in the middle. That's where they are. They go out there and help the team. Just manage the game. If you can make some great throws, great. Throw it to your position receivers. Your receivers are going to make the plays for you. That's what it is. So I honestly, there was no quarterback. I'm sitting there back like, oh my gosh, please don't, because I've been blessed with some great quarterbacks. So I never really had that real feeling where I was like, oh my goodness, he's back there again. Is he going to throw 4 interceptions? I never really had that feeling.
It must come from a fan standpoint of they touch the ball every play. So obviously if we lose, it's because of them, because they touch the ball.
That's how the game is programmed right now. That's what the NFL does. The NFL, they say, hey, you know what? The quarterback has the ball. Let's make him the focus of attention. And I understand it. I don't think it was necessary.
Yeah.
That's me being a defensive player, maybe. But I'm just saying I get it. I do get it. But, I can't, I'm not a big, hey, quarterback, this guy. Da, da, da. I mean, listen, there's no other position out there that relies on more people for success than the quarterback position, all right? But
that's why they get their O-line presence, right?
It's all the credit and all the money.
and all the money. Yeah, look at Dak. Jeez. Was there a quarterback that you thought was just, this is an easy win, that you played against and you're like, yep, we're taking this guy down?
I hate to say it. David Carr, look, when I played against him and I played against David, it wasn't David's fault. He just didn't have a great offensive line. So I think I might have sacked him more than any quarterback I've ever sacked in my career.
Well, he's now going to block you on Twitter, so.
Yes, he probably will. David, I'm sorry.
Okay, pick for this game. Indy, I can probably guess where you're going to go with this one, but Colts at Green Bay. Green Bay is +3. Indianapolis is favored in this one. Who are you taking on this one?
We're going Indy. We got to go Indy. I mean, we didn't play a terrible game last week when Houston's going to be pretty good.
All right, you guys, Dwight is going with the Colts. It's to be expected. I am taking Green Bay +3. Coming up, you guys, I made a bunch of predictions before week 1, and I'm sure 0 of them are going to be wrong. Stay right here on the offensive line. All right, Dwight, there's a page on Twitter called Freezing Cold Takes. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I've been honored to have been featured on it just a few times. I'm not proud of it, but it probably will happen again. We all have had a lot of predictions coming into the season like we always do. We've been speculating about the outcomes of these games since the schedule dropped back in May. And I felt very confident in my predictions, but I haven't rewatched them yet. So today we will be watching my week 1 predictions. So please enjoy. All right, you guys, before football season kicks off, these are my week 1 predictions. First off, you guys, I cannot wait for a full season and MVP season for Jordan Love. For my survivor pool, we're obviously going with Cincinnati over the Patriots. Every other spread was like 3, theirs is like 8. The Patriots suck. Worst team in the league. For fantasy football, the first overall pick, there's only one answer, and that is Christian McCaffrey. It will never steer you wrong. Second pick, we're going Marvin Harrison Jr. You're telling me Kyler's not going to get him the ball every other play? Come on. Third round, Puka Nacua. My team is looking pretty loaded. Fourth round, tight end Mark Andrews. I don't want to be overconfident here, but guys, is my fantasy team going to go undefeated? The Carolina Panthers can't possibly get worse, right? And even if every one of these football takes is terrible, there's one thing we can count on. Tom Brady will be great in the booth. He's so charismatic. He's going to be one of the best announcers of our generation. That's it, you guys. I cannot wait for the season and to prove all of you guys wrong. Okay, Dwight, what was a week 1 prediction that didn't quite go as planned for you? Did you have any?
Yeah, I had one. Like most people, Cincinnati was supposed to beat the Patriots. And now I'm out of my little survivor pool at the golf club.
Yep, there you go.
Unbelievable.
They did us dirty. They did us dirty. Week 1.
I didn't even watch the game. I just looked at the thing. I said, let me pick Cincinnati. And that should be a pretty good one. I felt pretty confident about it. I really did.
Yeah.
No offense to the Patriots. No, but, I don't really like you guys anyway. But it is what it is.
Who does, Dwight? I'm with you. And now let's dive into the DraftKings Pick 6. We, of course, need to have some action in Thursday night's game, Buffalo at Miami. So let's talk individual players. First of all, Josh Allen, more or less passing yards than 237.5. More. Easy, just straight up.
Ball, yeah. He's balls in his hands. He's going to make all types of plays.
The issue is that offense. He is the offense.
Yes.
Sean McDermott's the defense. He's the offense.
Give it to Josh.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Tua, 265.5 passing yards, more or less.
I think more.
That's not too bad of a number. I didn't see what it was last game.
I don't think Buffalo's defense is the same, as it was in the years past. And I think, what the weapons that the Dolphins have, I think all you need is 3 or 4 bombs to Tyreek and Waddle, exactly. And there you go. 80-yard here and 80-yard there. You're already halfway there.
And then the last one, this has been a tough week for rookies across the board. Keon Coleman, though, and the Bills probably feeling a little bit bad about that Xavier Worthy giving him to the Chiefs, but they got Keon Coleman. So 38.5 receiving yards, more or less.
More.
I like that. Keon Coleman.
Yeah, I think you can get more than that.
He might be a little, I don't know if a sleeper is even the right choice of words for that, but in fantasy, Keon Coleman might have a good production year. It was a little touch and go there in preseason, but yeah, I think he'll be good. Okay. Do you think Coleman could be a top wide receiver in this rookie class?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I honestly do. I mean, he has a skill set, obviously being drafted where he got. I think he has an opportunity to make some big things happen. He has it in him.
I like him. I like the kid. I liked him for just the personality alone that he brought to the Bills locker room. Those tweets before the season even started were amazing. Now he's producing. Yeah. Download the new DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code TOL. That's code TOL for new customers to play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits guaranteed. Offer expires 9/19 only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. One per new customer. Reward issued as $50 in non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 6 months.
Okay, Monday Night Football. We have to talk about it. We just watched Aaron Rodgers, the debacle that it was, the Jets and the 49ers. Hey, he lasted longer than 4 plays, so that is a win.
It's a win. In a way, it's a win.
It's a win. What are your early thoughts on good old Aaron? That's Monday Night Showdown.
It's tough when you're going into San Francisco. It wasn't like he was playing, some other team that don't know how to win and he can kind of get his feet underneath them and et cetera. You're playing against San Francisco, who was in the Super Bowl. All right. And when you're playing a team like that, who's already built for success, you're going to struggle. And, I think Aaron hadn't played in a year, and I think that offense struggled.
You sacked Aaron a couple times, huh? Does he look the same? A couple times. Let's just throw that out there. Just a couple times. He's been looking down at Aaron a couple times. Does he look like the same guy to you? Because the Jets, I think the way that before you answer this, sorry, just going on my little tangent because it's Aaron and I'm a Packers fan. The reason the Jets thought this whole experiment would work with Aaron, with this 40-year-old quarterback, was because they didn't need him to be this Hall of Fame Aaron that he was his entire career. They wanted him to just be productive, get those free plays that he does all the time, that he did last night, and let the defense, let Breece Hall, let the whole team around him figure it out. But that did not happen last night. He had to be Hall of Fame Aaron in order to win that game, and he wasn't. So do you see him ever getting back to that, or he's just a totally different player now than he was when you sacked him over and over and over again?
And over and over and over. I think that Father Time is undefeated. It really is. Now, that being said, he doesn't have to be. There is nobody who is their 27, 28-year-old self. There's nobody. Maybe Tom Brady. But anybody? Yeah. No. Even Tom.
It's all the green juice.
But even Tom, it's not, you just have to play the game a little bit smarter, and just, and you have to rely on some more weapons, around you to make the plays. And that's just what it is. This doesn't define Aaron. This doesn't mean he's not going to have a great year. It doesn't mean anything. This just means that they lost this one game and they didn't play better than the other team. Point blank, period. All right. Now, if it happens next week, okay, now we're starting to build a story here. And then the week after that, now it's kind of like, okay, something's wrong. But this is only one game, and I wouldn't hit the panic button if I'm the Jets. Just go out. And plus, you're playing against a Super Bowl champion, but an NFC championship team and a Super Bowl team. It's not going to be easy to win that game, period, on the road. All right. And in a Monday night game. This is not adrenaline for everything that, San Francisco. This is going to be a tough game, however you looked at it. All right. So they're going to take whatever they need to do and go back to the film room and figure it out.
They're speaking of the week one, like you said, too, their schedule's not, I'm looking at it right now, it's not tough. It's tough logistics wise because they play the Titans, and this is the game we're talking about, Jets at Titans. Their Titans are +4, Jets are -4. But then they go on to play the Patriots, which is also a Thursday night game. So then they've got 2 games within 9 days. Then they're playing the Broncos, Vikings, which might be better than we think, Bills, Steelers, and then Patriots again. It's not a tough schedule. If you look at the quarterbacks on the schedule, it's tough logistically. And it's and then they go to London too. So it's a lot of travel. But like you said, this isn't the season. It's one game. It was a Monday night game. Aaron looked pretty good. I don't think Aaron was the problem, but yeah, they play Tennessee next week.
Yeah, it's okay. Like I said, quarterbacks get too much blame sometimes when you lose and too much credit when you win. I don't think he played a bad game. It's a team sport. You got to have everybody, period.
On that note, Will Levis is the worst person ever. Just kidding. Never blame the quarterback, guys, but Will Levis sucks.
Never blame the quarterback until it's his fault.
Until it's Will Levis, yeah. Stop get your hand out of the mayo jar. Will Levis sucks. He fell to his knees throwing the game-deciding pick 6. It was comedic genius. He also came out with a mayo cologne. So this play might stink more than his mayonnaise cologne. That's how bad it was. It's pretty bad.
Excuse me? He came out with a what?
He has a mayonnaise cologne. I know. I don't know if it's real or not, but it was his, he partnered with was it Hellman's? He partnered with Hellman's Mayo. I'm not a big mayo connoisseur, so I don't know these brands, but he partnered with Hellman's and he did the cologne commercial.
Yeah, she got people walking around smelling like mayonnaise. No way.
And throwing the worst pick 6s of their lives. Man, it was bad. Was it top the chart for probably one of the worst ones you've seen?
I just, you know what? I hadn't analyzed the play. But I did kind of see it, and I was just like, I would say this. He just really wanted to complete the pass, and he was trying so hard to do it. So hard. And he would do whatever it took to get it there. So he decided to throw a couple passes from his knees to get it there because, he really wanted to do it badly. I don't know. It is what it is. I bet you this. He'll never do that again.
For the sake of our eyes, I never want to see that again. Okay, the Jets at Tennessee +4. Who you taking in that one?
Jets.
Me too. Tennessee's terrible. Tennessee's terrible. I thought their defense could keep it together. They're terrible. Okay, this next bet is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Last game, Monday night game, Atlanta at Philly. We have to talk about Monday night. You made the Super Bowl with Atlanta, so I feel like you have some insight on Atlanta here. Expectations were high for the Falcons this year. Kirk Cousins did not look right. Something was not good there. Raheem Morris said he feels like Kirk is healthy, which is great news. He did not look healthy. He's just bad. So how long do you think it'll be until Michael Penix comes in and they relieve Kirk Cousins, even though he just got a huge bag? Their agents the agents should be the MVP of Kirk Cousins and Sean Watson. Whoever they are, you should be talking to them, Dwight, because, man, they got to rep you. They are miracle workers.
Listen, Kirk did not have a good game.
No.
He did not. He wasn't moving around. I don't know what was going on. He didn't play action pass at all, I don't think. He's known to do all of that, play action pass. Listen, my heart is with Atlanta. Raheem, I know Raheem personally, great coach, great guy. I always root for those guys. I just don't know how long you can hang on with Kirk throwing the ball, doing the things he was doing. And I don't know if it's all his fault, but it didn't look good. Timing was bad. Offensive line looked bad. Receivers didn't look great. So they got to figure that out. I give them about 3-4 more games looking like that before they have to.
It's tough. And it was a weird game, too, because it was the Arthur Smith kind of revenge game. It was as the Falcons playing the Steelers. Arthur Smith, used to be head coach in Atlanta, and then now the OC in Pittsburgh. And they didn't score an offensive touchdown. So that's kind of funny. Talk about TJ Watt, though, defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Is TJ Watt. He probably had more plays in the backfield than Bijan Robinson for the Falcons. He had more plays in the Falcons backfield than their own running back. Do you think he is the best defensive player right now?
It's kind of hard to tell. And to be honest with you, he's in the conversation. He is in the conversation, but not 1 week. 1 week doesn't mean much. 1 week, it just means 1 week. That's it. Now, come talk to me after week 6. And after I see, 4 or 5 games of what happens, because it could just be a game plan issue, It could be just an issue that they're having game plan wise and why he just took over the game. And I know he's great, but, who knows? Next week, he may not have any sacks. And, Micah Parsons might have 3, or.
Yeah. Would you go like Myles Garrett or Micah Parsons over TJ?
I think it depends on the scheme. If I'm going 3-4, I probably will go TJ 3-4. If I'm going 4-3, I just a basic 4-3 without too much going on up front, cover 2 scheme, Myles Garrett. If I'm going, fancy 4-3, we're moving guys around, I'm going Micah. Because Micah can go here, there, and everywhere.
Do you think that pass rushers are better or are more maybe dynamic than when you played? A little bit different, a little bit like they have to play the game a little differently?
I don't know if I can say better. I just don't know if I can say that. I think that there's some great pass rushers in every era, and guys who revolutionized the game. You think about, some of those guys who played back in the day, and Reggie White. Reggie White used to have a hump move and just tossing offensive tackles around like little kids, just like. And, that man that you just threw 5 yards in the opposite direction is 360 pounds. And you just tossed him like a rag.
Hip drop, tackle my ass. Hip drop, tackle my ass.
Yeah, this is crazy. So, you had some great pass rushers in every era. It's kind of hard to compare. I think they are getting faster. I think they are. I think that's just how it is, faster and stronger. And that's just how the game kind of goes. But from a technician standpoint of actually working moves and doing those different things, I don't know. It's a tough one.
Okay, let's make this pick on the Atlanta at Philly game. Their Philly is -6.5. Who are you taking in this game?
Philadelphia.
I gotta go.
They look good.
Philly too.
They look good.
Yeah. Even with turnovers, got to tighten up the turnovers, but that could be the Packers defense too. Not just going to throw that in there. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TOL. That's code TOL for new customers to get $250 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
All right, guys, to recap our picks, we agreed on quite a few. We had Houston -6.5 versus Chicago, Kansas City -6 versus Cincinnati, the Jets -4 at Tennessee, and then Philly -6.5 versus Atlanta. The difference here, obviously, which could have told you this, Dwight took the Colts -3. I took Green Bay +3. That's the only one we disagreed on, which I think is pretty good if you look at the broad picture of it here, why we disagreed on it. It's pretty obvious. Okay, this is my favorite part of the episode, Dwight. We're going to do a little thing called No Offense. This is your time to let anything off your chest. It's a safe place. You can rant, you can complain, fantasy football, actual football, whatever you want to complain about. You just have to start it with no offense because everybody knows when you say no offense, it's not offensive. So I'm going to show you how it's done. If you feel like you want to share something, it's like group therapy. If you want to share, you can. If not, we're just going to welcome you, say thank you, and then move on. Yes, exactly. It's okay. All right, here's my no offense. No offense, Germany, but since Brazil ruined my season, we're ruining your November by sending you the Panthers and Giants game. Daniel Jones had a 17.8 QBR. He had more touchdown passes to opposing defenses than to his own offense since he signed his contract. This might be the worst quarterback contract of all time. Saquon has more touchdowns as an Eagle in one game than Daniel Jones has as a Giant in the past 2 seasons. So Germany, I apologize. You gave us Oktoberfest. We give you Daniel Jones throwing checkdowns and running face first into defenders.
I absolutely love that. But let me say something.
Poor Germany.
I do have something to say.
Oh, good.
And please, no offense. Okay. But you quarterbacks out there, you guys have pads too. You guys got helmets. You guys got, protective gear. I don't want to hear all this stuff where we can't hit you. We got to lay you down gently and all of that stuff. I mean, you're making our job very difficult to do. All right. We have a job to do. You got pads on. You are not defenseless. Move out the way. If you want to make a throw, you don't need to make that throw. I see your drills all the time in practice. I see it. You guys can move to the side, step to the side, go to another route, run, whatever it is. But stop all of this babying the quarterback stuff, and all of a sudden we hit you, and you don't know. The ref doesn't even know if he can throw the flag or not. It looked like it was a hard hit. It's ridiculous. You can't play the game of football, which is a violent game, and protect the quarterback the way we're protecting them.
I love it. I'm going to tweet that out and tag NFL officiating. That was beautiful. That may have been the most beautiful 2 minutes in sports broadcasting history. And speaking to that, Dwight, one of the most egregious calls is roughing the passer. And we saw it this week in the Cardinals-Bills game. The Bills kind of fell on Kyler Murray. They didn't even touch him, and they got roughing the passer. Terrible. NFL officiating, be better.
It's not even, I can't even necessarily blame the refs because it's what they put them in the position. It's always the quarterback, but they put them in the position to have to make that call. Where did he land on him? Did he not? Did he throw him down? Did he not? I can't really tell. I'll throw the flag. It's just one of those things where you can't really even officiate it. It's just not. Get rid of it unless it's a blatant thing where you can literally see the guy trying to hurt a guy, and that's it. It has to be something like that. It should be reviewable, to be quite honest.
I think you need to be on the NFL Player Association or something and talk about this. They're very passionate about it. I enjoy this.
They don't want me there.
Just keeping the game the way the game should be, Dwight. That's why we love you. Well, we've taken so much of your time, and I'm sure you want to get back to looking at your Hall of Fame ring and talking about your Hall of Fame. That's just I'm so impressed. That's awesome. That's great. It was a great summer for you. Great off season for you.
It's been good. Yeah. It did not suck. Good. It did not suck.
It did not suck. Well, hopefully being on this podcast did not suck. Nice little segue there, huh? To get you back on. Hopefully you join us again sometime. We'll talk more Colts. After this game, after the Packers win.
Then you'll talk more about the Colts. I forgot it.
Absolutely.
There you go.
All right, guys, that is it for this week of The Offensive Line. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts, and you can watch our full podcast episode on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And as always, you guys, see you next week. And remember, Des didn't catch it.